All right, so hello everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the 360 podcast. With me, I have Joel Medeiros, and we're going to be speaking about RPA, Robotic Process Automation. Really excited. And Joel is actually also a content or course creator where he has his own course, and we're going to be speaking about that later on. But Joel, thank you so much for your time and welcome. I'm really excited to be speaking with you today.
Yeah, it's very nice to be here. I am very excited. Thanks for having me. And yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. Sounds good. And for those of you folks watching, I will be sharing links in the description somewhere below in this video for more information about how you can connect with Joel and get more information about him. And also make sure you hit like and make sure you follow and subscribe so you get notified for more future episodes where I'll be having more amazing guests such as Joel as well. But without further ado, so Joel, can you tell us a bit more about yourself and kind of give us an introduction and let us know a bit more about your background?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I started to work with IT like long back ago, 15, 17 years ago. I might look young, but I have some years on my back.
Okay.
And I started as a software developer, as most of students back then. And I worked with a lot of different programming languages, from C, C++. Like I'm talking about background languages. I
Right.
worked a lot with database too, and database is my cup of tea other than RPA, because I also love to work with database, creating SQL queries and working with the data.
Mhm.
And then I moved to different roles. I played like a lot of different roles in different projects, different teams. I moved to different companies, but I always worked to big multinational companies like HSBC, Wipro, and now I am working for TD Bank here in Canada. And when I started working for TD, it was when I started my journey with RPA.
Right.
And it's like in short, uh, this kind of trainings that we have internal on our company. And all of a sudden, one day, someone was presenting an RPA tool, and I didn't have a good idea of what was RPA at that time. But I saw a lot of potential on that, and then I started, exploring that tool and creating my own robots, and I like fell in love right away with this amazing tool and amazing approach of doing things, and here I am.
Okay, awesome, man. And I guess what is RPA for the people watching who might not be aware of it. I mean, it stands for Robotic Process Automation.
Yes.
But what is it? Because I know you mentioned that you started building robots, but that does not mean the actual physical robots or anything like that.
Yeah, and actually, I remember when I was starting, when I was creating, playing around with my in my own computer, and then my daughter, and she was staying at that time.
Yeah.
She came to me and asked, "Oh, hey, Daddy, what you are doing?" And I told her, "Oh, I am creating robots." And then she looked at me like kind of confused. Wow, where is the robot? Here, right in front of you. So she had this idea of, okay, physical robots, but
Yeah.
it's not something like that. But in general, RPA, it's a little bit different than automation. RPA specifically regards to automating tasks that we as humans should be doing. So we kind of create robots that are mimicking what we are supposed to do, our tasks. So imagine every day you have to open up your email, you have to download files or check reports or open up applications. So you can create these robots that are going to help you doing that tedious or repetitive tasks that are rule based. This is something very important because
Mm.
it's not that everything can be automated, but most what is important is, do we have rules for this process? Can we uh, tell specifically what the bot has to do? So then, yes, we can uh, automate that. We can create these robots that are going to perform what we tell them to perform.
Got it, got it. And kind of as a follow-up question, Joel, like what because I know you mentioned that you were first exposed to RPA at TD Bank, when you started
Yes.
working there. What caught your attention about RPA? Like, was it just something new and exciting, or what did you like about it, like specifically?
Well, I have to tell a short story to get you more context.
Okay.
When I got at TD, like I was working on the support project. So I was a support analyst. I was managing several applications, and we essentially had a lot of manual tasks that we had to do. Like what I said, like validations such as, okay, is this application up and running? Do I receive, did I receive all the files that I need? Is this report available? All this kind of small things that you have to do, but it takes time. And I was working like 10 hours a day every day, and it was just so much. Like I had to do so much. And then when I saw this presentation about UIPad, right away I saw that, and I thought, okay, I can use that in my daily life. So my first thought was, okay, let me try and see if I can help myself to work less.
Okay.
And I can tell that in a couple of months, I built a couple of, maybe 3 automations that helped me to decrease my workload, I would say 40%.
Wow.
And that was like the sparkling in my mind. Okay, that's something. That is something. I have to explore this even more. And then I was always studying a lot, talking to people. We have several folks at TD that they are very good at it, and I was always talking to them, asking questions, asking for guidance. What can I do? Where can I find more resources to learn more about that? And soon enough, people started to see that that was beneficial. That was something that could help others. And actually, my manager, I have to say a big thank you for him. He he started to we started, like, we were a support team, and we started to export to provide services for other teams, like building automations for other folks. And then people started to asking more automations and more complex, more technologies, and all of a sudden I was doing like all my support tasks. Actually, I had my robots doing that
Okay.
while I was creating another automations for other folks.
That's amazing. And the fact that you mentioned that you kind of started playing around with it yourself and you reduced your workload by 40%. I mean, that's huge. It's
Yes,
not like, a few percentage points. I mean, that's a huge chunk.
yes,
And I can only imagine the impact it can have in organizations, right? And like, when you're actually doing your day-to-day professional stuff, at work, and as
yes.
well. And that. Now, another quick question regarding that. I'm sure some people might even feel, some would say, well, isn't that gonna, get rid of certain types of people, like working at organizations and stuff like that? Or like, what are your quick thoughts on that?
No, that's not true. That's not true. What's going to happen is we are going to be better professionals. We are going to spend our time in a better way, like doing more skilled tasks. It's not something that we can get rid of people and just put these robots in place to do the job. We still have to do a lot of things because see, what we are doing is just automating small things that we have to do. Of course, there are a lot of complex projects, and I don't know if we are going to get to that level of details, but these automations, they can be very complex. But
Mm.
the examples that I am bringing to you, they're more related to like regular people, like people that are working at the offices, with a lot of workload, with a lot of manual tasks, repetitive, very tedious tasks. So in that sense, the robot's not going to replace anybody.
Okay.
It's just going to be a personal assistant of them.
Okay, I understand. So I mean, it sounds like from what you're saying, the end goal is not to eliminate people, but the end goal is to help people work more efficiently and effectively.
Exactly,
Uh,
exactly.
so for an example, as a recruiter, let's say I have to email like a whole bunch of people every day, potential candidates. I guess an example of using RPA would be to kind of automate the process of having to email, maybe a
Exactly.
certain number of people. Maybe that would be an example.
Exactly. Working with like when you start creating automations, you see a certain patterns. One of them is working with emails. The
Mhm.
second one is working with Microsoft tools such as Excel, Word, and so on. Working with PDFs, PDF files, and so on. So this kind of automation, it's the daily basis of every office. And I'm not talking about bank or IT companies. This applies for literally every type of company in any industry. So RPA is not for specific industries. RPA is for everybody. And imagine like a accountant office. Like they have a lot of processes, a lot of rules, taxes, and so on, and files coming from everywhere and going to everybody. So the robots can help a lot in this kind of scenario. So when and I believe that for certain scenarios, for certain industries, RPA can help more than others. But as I said, it can apply for any industry.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And so, I mean, moving on to why is this an area people should be excited about, Joel? Like, and not just people in tech. You mentioned other industries as well. Why should people be paying attention to RPA, or even build a career path in this field?
Well, we can like separate some groups here, like tech people like myself and yourself as well, because you work in the tech industry. We can see this not only as a career path, but as happened to me in the beginning, as a way to help ourselves to be better professionals, to perform better, and to have more time, and less work. That is something. And a career path, I believe it's very interesting for anybody, because even though the RPA thing is here for quite a while, like I would say more than a decade, but the market is still very small and it is growing. On my perspective, there's a lot of room for for growth when it comes to career, to self development. So I believe that we are going to have a much better market for professionals that know RPA in the coming years.
Yeah, I mean, because it sounds very exciting, right? And I mean, from what you've spoken about so far in terms of the amount of time and how people can work more effectively. So, kind of a quick follow up question to that, Joel, is why do you think it's maybe not as widely adapted right now as it could be?
Well, I feel this is my feeling, that there is a lot of resistance to change. I saw that many times when I was creating automations for other folks. Like people tend to think that they're going to be replaced in a
Uh,
way,
yeah.
or they might lose space for the robots, or they just want to own that space. So I saw that many times. People, when they are doing, when they know what they are doing, they kind of own that space, and they resist to give that away to other folks. So I feel this resistance from folks when I am creating the bots. And like I believe that companies are waking up to this tendency of automating their their tasks and having better professionals on their workforce. uh, I don't know it is why it got so much time for them to start this change, but I believe it is a tendency that is going to be growing over the following years, the coming years. But internally, for those companies that already have, as I said, I believe that there is a lot of resistance from people. Maybe might be fear of losing their jobs.
Mhm.
Maybe it's just the necessity of own things and be be the owner of that process, of that application, of whatever it is that we want to automate.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that makes perfect sense as well. I think this is a challenge faced by many organizations, is that resistance to change. Uh,
Yeah,
and it sounds like the most important thing is probably educating organizations on the benefits of RPA, as well as the employees themselves, and really communicate. Hey, look, we're not. This is not to replace people. This is to help you do more effectively. Accomplish more. Focus on your core tasks and duties and responsibilities, and let the robots take care of the tedious, repetitive stuff.
exactly. Yeah, see, that was something that I noticed right away, but that is something people have hard time to notice.
Yeah.
So yeah, change the mindset is I think is the idea here, like for companies and also for employees.
Absolutely. And that being said, I mean, the popularity is definitely increasing because I'm hearing a lot more about RPA now than I did, just a few years back. Seeing a lot of roles and, those types of positions coming out there as well, from a recruitment standpoint.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Joel, I mean, what type of career paths are available for someone who wishes to explore RPA?
Well, if your company, if the company already have uh, an RPA program, so then that is something you can start as a citizen developer. So that was how I started. And a citizen developer is nothing but okay, anybody that want to build their own automations.
Mhm.
So, but that depends on the company's approach. So, some companies will not support the citizen development because it's a little bit different than the regular development team. You have to, it's different the way you build environments, that you support the automations. But that is something, if you have the option, I would encourage you to start building your own automation, something like small, and then keep growing up to more complex scenarios. But if the company doesn't have the citizen development uh, project or approach, then you can explore for yourself, of course, and start to be and work to be a developer.
Mhm.
And there, I already saw many, not many, but a few different roles, but essentially is RPA developer, and business analyst, and also RPA architect. So it's very related to the development process or the development cycle of the automation itself. So everything that is related to the development cycle, you can work with that.
Okay, gotcha. And how does one get started? Like, are there any certifications you recommend, or how does one get started in this area?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is going to change depending on what kind of tool you want to work, because there are a lot of options and a lot of room to work with. And the most popular are the, I would say, but I am a little bit biased on my statement, and I would say that UiPath is the best one. But that's because I love UiPath and I started working with that. So with UiPath, there are just a couple of certifications that you can get. One is the associate level, and the other one is the advanced developer level. Both of them are very good. You're excuse me. Even with the associate level, you start to get an idea. You start to build your first automations, work with different activities. Um, on the other hand, the advanced developer certification, of course, you have to have some more experience, build some different robots, use different technologies, frameworks, templates, and then you can go for that. With that, you can go for developer roles in
Mhm.
any company, and that is the prerequisite for RPA developers that want to work with UiPath. all the positions that I saw, they request that certification, besides some experience with UiPath. For other tools, such as Blue Prism, Blue Prism is the other bigger player. And Blue Prism has a lot of different certifications that you can go for it. From RPA architect, developer, associate level, I believe even for RPA project manager, something like this.
Oh,
so you have a wide variety of certifications that you can play with. And then some other tools such as Automation Anywhere. You can, of course, you have certifications for that. Another big player is actually Microsoft. So Microsoft has the Power Platform, and inside of the Power Platform, they created the Power Automate. So Power Automate, you can create like web automations that are more simple, I would say. But they also have an RPA tool, which is the Power Automate for desktops. And then for Microsoft, there's a wide variety of certifications that you can go for it. Inside of the Power Platform, like stream, you have from the essentials or fundamentals certification, and you can go to like RPA architect, something like this. So for those who want to explore, there's a pretty wide variety of careers path and certifications that you can go for it.
Okay, got it. And another quick question, Joel, is like, do you have to come from a tech background? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
No, you don't have to have a technical background, and that's why the citizen development is very good. And talking about UiPath, like UiPath has a version of the UiPath Studio, which is the development tool. By the way, I didn't mention, but these RPA tools, they are low code or even no code development tools, and it's very easy. It's drag and drop. You want to read emails, you're going to search for Outlook, for example, and then the name of the activity is going to be read email from Outlook, and then you're going to click drag and drop and just put your account there, and you're going to read emails from your Outlook account. So it's that easy. It's very easy to understand. And then to your question, you don't have to have a technical background because it's low code and drag and drop. And then I was saying that UiPath has a version of the development tool specific for non-tech people that is less complicated. It's less complex. It's not less complex. It's less code. How can I say that? It's even more simple than the regular development tool.
Okay.
It's a little bit more limited because you don't have many options to change properties and even create, because you can, if you are a developer, you can create extremely complex scenarios or even create your own code and put inside of the automation.
Okay.
But for those who don't have this kind of skills, you can stick with the more simple activities and create your own automations.
Okay. Well, I mean, it sounds like a great entryway, right? I mean, for people who are non-technical, I mean, they can probably start off with that, and I'm assuming then maybe they want to pick up on the development skills, and they can get more, more of a technical, customized.
Yeah, exactly. And see, RPA developer is not for everybody, but creating an automation, it can be for everybody. Like if you are a manager, if you are a business person, I'm sure that you still have a lot of repetitive tasks that you have to do every day, like create a report or merge files, or check some specific applications every day, something like this. And if you have the time and you are willing to do that, you can do that by yourself. You don't need the beauty of RPA, one of the beauties is you don't need a development team to do your stuff, because that's something sometimes that because relying on development team can take time. Like we are talking about months, and then you have to have budget and go through the development cycle of a project. And with RPA, you can do that by yourself. You don't need that. And one advantage also of the RPA is that you don't need to have extra development or extra licenses or extra softwares. You have everything that you need right in front of you. You just need to plug in.
Right. I mean, pretty much sounds like plug and play. That's it.
Yes. And it is. And it is.
Okay, great. Now, Joel, you mentioned that you love UiPath. What do you like about UiPath? Like, what made you say that?
Well, the beauty about UIPad is that it is so simple to understand. It is so simple to learn. Like, I am a self-taught person, so I learned by myself a lot of things. And when I saw UiPath, it was even easier to understand what was going on, what I had to do. Of course, when I see the automations that I did when I was starting, I won't like today because I was learning. So I was on that learning process. But if you know what you want, like if you know what you have to do, let's say, for example, my first automation that I created, I had to validate if I received like over 300 files every day. So I had to make sure that I had that 300 files every day at 9 a.m., let's say. I knew that that was the task of the bot. So then I started thinking, okay, how can I create this bot? The first thing, okay, how can I check the files, if that files exist, if the file exists or not? And then I can use this activity, and then I can have a loop where I'm going to read every file and so on. So when you know what you have to do, you kind of start thinking on the next step, and then just keep going.
Okay, gotcha. So you mentioned UiPath, you mentioned Blue Prism. Are there any other tools people should kind of look into, research, and be aware of in relation to RPA, Joel?
Well, first one is UIPath, that's for sure. but yeah, definitely Blue Prism is one big player. Automation Anywhere it's another one. Microsoft Power Platform, it's another big player. And Microsoft also has a lot of advantages because usually when companies have Microsoft Power Platform, they also have another Microsoft tools, and then you can easily plug them to work with your automations. So it's very interesting as well. And I would say if you can pick any of these four and start studying, that is a good start.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess the most important step is to just simply get started, right? Like just
Yes.
start
Yeah.
start getting used to it and start using it. Gotcha.
Definitely.
So Joel, as before we kind of wrap up and I get you to speak to everyone about your amazing training program, any final words of wisdom in regards to the viewers out there who might be interested in getting their hands on RPA and really getting into it?
Well, if you really want to get started, just do it. Just start creating your automations. That is what I have to say. Because without starting creating your automation, you are not going to start doing anything. And don't worry with beauty of your code, or if you are doing the right way of whatever. Just starting creating your automation, even if it is not related to your work. Start creating something, and then you are going to see the potential, and maybe you can start see scenarios that you can apply at your work. Because at the end of the day, what you want is to work less, or at least work smarter. spend less time doing tedious things, while you can be creating better stuff.
Great words of wisdom there, Joel, and also just again, it's obviously a very exciting field. With that being said, Joel, I know that you have created your own training program. So can you let everyone know more about your training program and more details about it in terms of who it's for and what's covered and what kind of topics and who it can help?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am creating my courses at Udemy. So I thought that could be a good place to start with, because I was thinking more about the user experience when they are actually consuming my content. And I already have 4 courses over there. It starts from the beginner level. So I have the entry level for people that wants to understand what is the RPA and wants to create the first robot and understand the environment as a whole. But I also have some more advanced trainings for the RPA developers. And I also have 2 trainings specific for the certifications, the UIPad certifications, one for the associate and the other one for the RPA advanced developer. They are all available at Udemy. You can, if you search for my name on the search box at Udemy, you can certainly you will find my profile there. But also at my LinkedIn page, I have linked to my website, rpapro.co. And then on my website, I have the link for all of the courses.
Okay, amazing, and I'll definitely drop it in the description for the video as well, Joel. So for those of you folks watching, check out the description for the video. I will post a link for that so you can check that out. And also another quick question about your course and your program, Joel. On average, like how much of a time commitment is this for the person that signs up for the course on average?
Well, these are short course. When I say short, it's from 2.5 hours to 6 hours.
Okay.
Of video. Of course, when you are studying, you have to spend more time. So you probably have to pause the video in order to understand what's going on, and then do the project to follow along with me. So when I am creating the course, I'm trying to use the time in a better way. Like, I don't want you to spend 10 hours with me building every single detail. So I kind of cut some parts to be more efficient with the time. But when you are studying, you have to spend more time to create your own projects, because the material, even though it's a lot of videos, but I am very hands-on. I like to create. I like people to see what I'm doing and then follow along and do their own projects.
Got it. And Joel, for those of the viewers who want to connect with you or network with you, what is the best way for people to find you? Is it social media, or how would you like people to connect with you?
Well, I am a very social person, but I don't like social medias. So if you want to connect with me, LinkedIn is the one-stop shop. Is where I have my contacts, is where I talk to people. And other than that, I don't have any other social media. But I love LinkedIn, and I will be more than happy to connect with anybody and everybody.
Awesome. Fantastic. Happy to hear that. And I will share the link for your LinkedIn profile in the description as well. So Joel, thank you so much for your time. I learned so much about RPA, and again, it sounds like a very, very exciting field. And all the information you shared was very, very insightful, and I'm sure it'll help a lot of people out there that whether they're from tech or not, from a non-tech background, who might want to take a closer look at it. And I definitely hope that people will check out your course and see what you have to offer from that end as well. So thanks again, Joel. Appreciate your time, and thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe like the video and subscribe, and also make sure you connect with Joel and connect with Joel on social media as well as check out his course. Thanks everyone. Have a fantastic week ahead.